Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today was a fun day. Saturday was a fun day of college football. Great showdowns, great amazing stuff. Um, it was fun. It was a great time, right? It really was a great time. Before we get into it, again, my name is Isaiah Austin. Um, Welcome back to the channel, the IDA Kings Video Production Channel. And I hope you'll enjoy. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, comment, hit the bell notification. And let's get right into it, man. It was a fun day. It was a fun day, man. There was a lot of good games. The Iowa State and Iowa game was a really good game. Great hard battle defensively. It was hard for people to score in that game, but it was a great game. Iowa State ended up winning by 3 points. Clutched up defensively towards the end. That was a real fun game as well. Man, one of probably the best game of the day was SMU and Baylor. That was a really high scoring game. Baylor came back. They were down about double figures against SMU. They were really competitive in that game. Scored, hung in there with SMU because they have a high powered offense at SMU, man. Jennings, who's a great quarterback, who's going to put up some Heisman numbers. He had a great game as well. Was slinging it all over the place, slinging it all over the field. But Baylor, man, they matched point for point up there, man. They matched point for point. They was hanging in there. They was putting in points up, man. SMU choked down the stretch though in overtime. They had it 40 to score the touchdown. Had to go for two, and they choked on the 2-point conversion. And then that came with Baylor scoring, and then they ended up getting the 2-point conversion, ended up winning 42-40. That was a fun game. Really great game. Fun game. I was checking a lot of different games out. That was a fun game. Texas came back. I know they play lower competition, but I caught a little bit of Arch Manning, man. He was better. There were things he could still do better with, at least with the fundamentals of his footwork. Keeping his lead foot a little closer to him, but overall, he definitely was better. He's going to be better for sure. He's going to get way better. So he had a good night as well. They blew out the team they played. Texas blew out the team they played. It was a fun day though. It was a fun day. Today was a fun day. Upsets happened, man. One of the biggest upsets that happened today. Talked about it earlier. USF, when they beat Boise State, I knew they were going to be a tough out for other teams on their schedule. And Florida, they ended up getting Florida, man. They ended up getting Florida. They ended up going into the swamp and beating them, taking them down. You understand what I'm saying? Went right into the belly of the beast and took them down. That was a fun game right there. That game was amazing. That game was a great defensive battle by both teams. Florida made some key mistakes. They had a bad snap that led to a safety, and then they choked on defense. They had some bad penalties on the last drive that led to USF kicking a game-winning field goal. I believe a Florida defensive tackle, if I'm not mistaken, spit it on a player. If I'm not mistaken, I think that happened in that game. He spit it on that player, got ejected. I believe another penalty. I think it was another penalty. I believe roughing the passer or something like that. It was just wild. Or late hit or something. It was some crazy stuff that happened on that drive. Florida choked defensively, giving up penalties. They let up a little dump off screen type pass to the running back. They let that happen. Go to the sideline. Okay. Gave up too many first downs to lower the clock. So they can then kick the game winning field goal. Basically to end the game. But USF, man, they did their thing. They was competitive. They weren't turning the ball over too much. They did a real great job in that game. They were fighting hard against Florida. Florida's in trouble, man, because they have a tough schedule coming up, man, especially going into the ACC. They have one of the toughest schedules in the country. So losing the USF at home in the swamp, they in trouble. They're really in trouble. they're in trouble for sure. And they were expected to have a really good year this year too. So it's gonna be tough for them, man. But that was a great game. Boston College and Michigan State. That was a great game too. That was a great game. Um, that was a really fun game too. Both quarterbacks did a great job in that game as well. If y'all watched that game was pretty interesting. They were going back and forth scoring offensively. Michigan State started being better in the second half. I believe only giving up 6 points in the second half. They got better in that second half. Um, but Boston College was hanging in there um, and really did a good job. Their quarterback was flat out amazing, making all type of great throws, doing a lot of great things. Michigan State's quarterback was no slouch himself. He was really great as well, making throws, making great decisions with the ball. They were scrapping, they were clawing. Um, they had a great game as well. Both teams were really good. That was a great game as well. That was a great game as well. Um, Bryce Underwood struggled tonight. Bryce Underwood struggled tonight. I'm not gonna lie to you. He had his struggles tonight. He was 9 for 24. Um, in his first true road test um, against Oklahoma, a story program just like Michigan is. He was 9 for 24. There was some drops in there too. There were some miscommunications. Um, Oklahoma defensively, besides giving up that great run, 73-yard run in that game to start the half, they were up 14-0. That defense gave up a 73-yard rush touchdown. Basically, the first play of the game. First play actually was first play of the second half. Other than that run, they've really dominated. They weren't getting many rush yards. They were only averaging like 2 yards a carry. Michigan was against Oklahoma. Oklahoma was physical. They were up in the trenches, dominating defensively. And John, and then Mayer, the quarterback for Oklahoma. If I said his name right, he balled out, man. He was accurate, made the right throws. He had a few missed throws, a few that was behind the receiver. One led to an interception, but overall he was great in that game. Um, he was running well in that game too. He's a real great quarterback from Washington State. Him and the offensive coordinator, who was his offensive coordinator at Washington State, they did a great job game planning, calling the great game. Brent Venables was great defensively, you know, doing different things to make Bryce Underwood uncomfortable, make the offense uncomfortable. There were times where they didn't open it up, and then when they started opening it up, the defense just went haywire, causing a lot of havoc. Okay, so um, they made it tough on him. They made it tough on him. But Michigan's defense wasn't bad. Also, they had great moments too. Michigan's defense had fantastic moments in the game. So Michigan's defense is, to me, it's up to the billing in that Big Ten, man. They're going to be good defensively. Offensively, they'll have to be better. Offensively, for sure, they're going to have to be better. They're going to have to explode in the offense in the pass game. They had these issues last year, though. They were able to run, but they weren't able to explode in the pass game as much. When what I'm saying. So, but I think they will, though. I think it's going to take a little time. It's going to take a little time, but they'll be fine. They'll be fine. It was a good test early, though, for both teams to see where they were at, to see where they can improve on and stuff. Oklahoma was a good team. Oklahoma is going to be they're going to be banging in there in the SEC. Okay. And Michigan will be fine as long as the offense gets better, as long as they can get it down the field, because Oklahoma was playing tight. They were guarding them underneath routes, guarding them medium routes and stuff. And they were basically daring them to go deep, right? They were they were shutting down that run too. They were filling their gaps correctly for the most part. And stuff like that. Oklahoma did have a few mishaps in the special teams, dropping muffin punts and kickoffs and stuff like that. They got to get better at that. They got to get better at that for sure. And then they need a running back. Oklahoma needs a running back too, because Mayer cannot always run, especially in the SEC. The SEC, one of the toughest conferences, that in the Big Ten. So your quarterback has to have some help in the run game. Of course, you want him to have some mobility, but You want the run game to be on fire too, because you want to take the pressure off of Mayer, especially when he has to throw the ball as well. So Oklahoma get that together. They'll be really good in the Big Ten. They'll be better than they were the last few years. In the SEC, they'll be way better. Michigan will be way better in the Big Ten as well. They're gonna be way better. Um, man, man, like it was a great time though. Another great game too. I said earlier that you gotta be watching out for these games too. These little upsets could come, right? Mississippi State versus Mississippi State, man, they had a great game, man. They were competitive against Arizona State, right? They were really good. They started out on a 17-0 run, right? 17-0. Then Arizona started reeling back in, coming back, getting good runs, making good passes, getting touchdowns, right? But let me tell you something. They ended up going up 20-17, scored 20 unanswered points, right? They even in the fourth quarter they had a drive that was like what 8-9 minutes, I believe. It was a long drive, right? Got that field goal, went up 20-17, okay, and then Mississippi State made a beautiful play, right? Miscommunication with the corners on that outside, but it was a great, great, great play. I think did a post or something like that, or it was a route. Beat that corner in, threw a great pass straight down the line, man. Touchdown, right? Ended up winning the game. Got a few key stops. Ended up winning the game. Caught an interception against Arizona State's quarterback Sam, who's gonna be most likely if he comes out. I'm assuming he will. Um, gonna be a top 15 draft pick. You know, Mississippi State is the real deal. They got better. Last year they were rough. They had a rough year last year. They were bad. I believe they were like 2-10. They were bad. Okay. I don't think they won in the SEC. I don't know if they won a game in the SEC that year, last season. And they weren't winning on the road either or nothing like that. But this was a big, big win, big statement win for them, man. 2-0. That was a great game for them as well. So, yeah, there was a lot of games, man. Great games. UNLV, I know they played a little bit lower competition, right? UNLV. But UNLV came back and beat UCLA, right? Nico played better at the quarterback position. He left Tennessee with NIL dispute from Tennessee. But he played better the first game when he played against Utah. He had a rough game. This game was definitely better. But and UNLV almost choked, right? They were up, I believe, like 23-0, 20-0, something like that. They ended up going up. Yeah, I think it was 23-0 at one point. Then it was like, then they kicked the field goal towards about the end of the second half. Then it was 23-3. Then UCLA started going, running down the field, getting points, getting stops. But then UNLV ended up scoring. It was 20-30. Then UCLA scored a field goal, got 23-30, made a smart move doing that. And then when UCLA got the ball back, UNLV was clutch up, big stop, clutch, and then they ended up winning the game. UNLV is a solid team, man. They're a good team, right? They're a real good team, right? And they're going to get better, too, playing in their conference right there in Mountain West. No, they have a chance to win that conference. UCLA, they got to be careful, man. They're going to have a tough schedule, too. And they could mess around and go 0-3, okay? Because they play Boston College next, too, who's a tough game. Or I believe, no, not Boston College. I think it's someone else. It's a different team that UCLA play. I apologize. I think Boston College. They play Stanford, which that's another game that I'll talk about in a second. But yeah, UCLA is in trouble. They're in trouble. They gotta get better. It's gonna be hard for them to get some wins in the Big Ten. So they're gonna have a tough situation. Stanford versus BYU. BYU basically was dominating for most of the game, especially defensively. Their offense was, a little discombobulated at times, up and down. But overall, the defense was great. It was really putting Stanford in bad problems. Like really, Hawaii did the week 0 to Stanford. They was just putting them. It was just BYU was just putting Stanford in bad situations, putting them in real bad tough situations. You know what I'm saying? Having tough game after tough game after tough game, and yeah, they were having some issues, having some problems and stuff like that. And so, but then they got about a score. I think they scored like 3 points. Then they just kept they couldn't really get offensive plays going. They really had a hard time scoring. They really just had a really hard time scoring like they did against Hawaii. You know what I mean? But BYU has way more firepower than Hawaii. So that's what happened. So that was an overall situation right there as well. So overall today was a great day. It was a great day of college football, right? Arch Manning got better. Um, got a little better today. Um, he got better. Um, Ohio State was really good too. They really did a great job as well. Alabama took a big step forward. I know. I know we're gonna really see when they play in SEC play, especially against Georgia. They might even see what Wisconsin does because Wisconsin had a big win today. Um, so we'll see. We'll see what Alabama is really about. But it's keto, man. They got to get the next win or two before they play Wisconsin, before they get into the SEC play, before they get into that SEC, and before they go right. Wisconsin, see how they are against Alabama. I'm looking forward to that matchup. Looking forward to it, see how it goes. Really looking forward to that matchup. And then, but yeah, those two teams got wins, did a good job. Um, Found a way to get wins. I think Alabama was 73-0 against their opponent. They got better, man. Simpson, um, Ty Simpson. Sorry if I got his name wrong, but he did a great job today too. He did a great job. Um, he was accurate with the ball, real accurate. Saying, like I said earlier, he was really great too. He only had one incompletion. It was a pick in the end zone, running the out route. He had to get that ball there quicker. But other than that, he was on fire again, like he really was the week before. But he was just putting up video game numbers. Jeremiah Smith let it fly, killed it. I knew he was gonna be fine. I wasn't worried about him. I knew he was gonna be better. He killed it. Williams, or I think Ryan Williams, for Alabama, he's out. He was out this game. I don't know how. I think he might be out in another game or two or so. I gotta double check, but yeah, he was out this game. But they didn't need him in this game, for Alabama, because they were cooking at Alabama. But yeah, there was some great plays, man. I believe there was some great games today, man. Great games. It was fun. It was exciting today. Big upsets, right? Big upsets again. Army ended up beating Kansas State. Kansas State, that's another situation right there. They really should be 0-3, right? They almost lost last week as well. They almost lost last week at home, and they only won by 3 points. They should be 0-3 really, right? Especially after losing to Iowa State in week 0. So in the week 0 game in Dublin. So it's Kansas State's in trouble. They're in real big trouble. Army, after losing week 1, their matchup they were expected to win, right? They lost that week. They came back and bounced back. Army bounced back and won the game. They were clutch, came up with a clutch pick, okay, against Kansas State. It's a great game there too. It was an interesting game. Really good game. Really good defensive stops. Army did a good job of running the ball, having some key plays on offense and stuff like that to keep drives alive. They had a trick play that ended up working. They threw it, I believe, to the running back who threw it down to a receiver down the field. Great trick play. It's a great play that put them into a good scoring position. So overall, it was good. Overall, it was great. overall, it was a great day of college football. Again, it was fun. It was really fun. I'm excited, like I said, for Sunday, for the NFL season, for the NFL games. Right, I'm pretty excited for the NFL games. I'm pretty excited for how this season NFL is going to go for a lot of teams. Right, a lot of teams are going to improve. A lot of teams are probably going to regress too. So we're going to see how things are going. But the NFL, I'm excited for that. Starts tomorrow. Um, hey, it was some good games Thursday and Friday, right? Like I talked about in the last few episodes. You know, I'm excited. Next episode, we're gonna try to preview. We're gonna preview some games, talk about different games and stuff, talk about players, talk about different situations and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about the NFL, and then coming up Sunday, and then coming up Monday to cap it off. Man, appreciate it. Hope y'all enjoyed the episode, and y'all have a great weekend as well. Cannot wait for the next episode to come out. We're gonna have a good time.